Ruth Jones, Labour MP, elected as the MP for Newport at the age of 56. You were elected in a by-election in 2019, so still relatively new. You're in your first term. It was third time lucky for you standing for Parliament. My goodness, does it make it all the sweeter to get there?
Yes, I suppose so. I knew what I was getting into by that point. So Newport West is my hometown, so it was great to be able to stand in my own place. I've been an activist for 20 years there, so it's really important that I was real. You know, I born and brought up there. Everyone knew me. It's no good saying, oh, she's just parachuted in. No, we know her. She's from up the road, you know, so that was quite handy.
And you had a proper job before you came into politics. You were a physiotherapist. Would politics be better if most or all politicians had a proper job before getting into Parliament?
I think it helps. It helps when you meet people. I mean, obviously, I think the physio job was the best job in the world, but it teaches you how to meet people and get on with people. People have respect for you. The fact you've done shifts, you've done unsocial hours, you know what it's like to have not enough money at the end of the month, you know, to struggle a bit. People get you. So you're a real person, they're a real person. And I think it helps with the communication, yeah.
And give us some practical advice then, as we all get older. What can we do to avoid those annoying aches and pains and to ensure that we still carry ourselves well?
I mean, basically, it's as you get older, you eat less, move more.
Yes.
Sorry about that, that's bad news. But yeah, moving is really important, because if you get aches and pains, the tendency is to freeze, and that's the vicious circle then. The pain makes you freeze, the muscle spasm makes it worse, and so you don't move even more, and therefore that's not a good thing. So break the cycle, get out there, move a bit. Maybe something as simple as going for a walk every day, but just get out there and do some exercise.
Do you practice what you preach?
Yeah, I have to, yes, because physios have arthritic-y joints, so you have to keep moving. So yes, I definitely do. Every day do something, yeah.
And I read that going to church is an important part of your life. When did you discover your faith?
I've always been taken to church by my gran. So I was 3 when I first started going to church, to chapel we have in Wales. And I always knew God was there, but it was just, I was about 14 when I suddenly thought, do you know what? Yeah, I need a relationship rather than just thinking about it. I need to get on and do something. So from 14, I've had a relationship with God, and that's fixed me, and that makes me who I am today.
Tell me about what it means to have a relationship with God on a practical level.
It takes the strain because you're not on your own. You've always got somebody there. You also meet brilliant people in church. In Parliament, we've got an all-party parliamentary group of Christians, and we meet for Bible study, for prayer. And it just makes a difference. You know, there are other people, friends, doesn't matter what political persuasion they are, they're there for you and with you. And it just frames your whole life, really. And
does it help for you to pray and read the Bible with people from different parties from your own? Is it all, you know, nice and kind, and any other political differences, they go out the window as soon as you're sat together in prayer?
I mean, we still have disagreements. You know, there may be a passage about a woman, and I might say, well, do you know what, I think the woman should, and then the men might say, oh, no, and it's not political. That might be just a woman versus a male difference, but it's good to talk. The more you talk, the more you get to understand somebody else's point of view, but you can get your own point of view across as well.
Do you think the church has done enough to root itself in the modern world, to recreate itself for the next century, or are there changes you would like to see?
I would like to see more change. I think the church has sat back and waited for people to come to it, whereas we need to be out there. People need to be... The church is not the building, the church is the people. So the people should be out there getting on with life, social justice, homelessness. These are all big issues. What are we doing to tackle these? We had a minister on Sunday, a lovely old friend of mine, who said, you can be angry. It's not wrong to be angry at the situation that's going on. So it's really important that you get angry, sure, but do something about it.
And when it comes to equal marriage, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the church can perform blessings, but not a full marriage ceremony.
It depends on where you're thinking of gay couples.
Yes.
Or, yes. So I mean, it depends on which church you go to. Love is love, and it's all about relationships. Again, it's relationships. God, but also people. Relationships are so important. And who am I to say to somebody else, you can't get married in the sight of God? No, that's not for me to say.
Have you been involved in choirs as part of the church? Do you sing?
Yes, I'm a Welsh woman. Of course, I sing. So yes, I've always sung. I've had some brilliant memories. Been in a choir. Oh gosh, 30 odd years. Singing every week was really important, and that's the one thing I miss. Being in Parliament, I can't do regular singing with my choir, so I miss that. But I go and listen to them whenever I can.
And you held a debate recently on vaping. And the effect it has on children, that too many children are vaping was basically the argument that you were making. What do you want to do about that? What needs to change in your view?
So vaping, I understand vaping as part of a step-down process from smoking cigarettes to stopping completely. I understand that can be part of the journey. What I don't want to see, though, is this massive increase in people under 18 vaping. Now, vaping should not be allowed because it's only to be sold to people over 18 anyway. The vapes are for people over 18. But in schools, it's a massive issue. We've got to the situation where people cannot sit a 2-hour exam without having to go out for vape.
Really?
Yes. And this is awful. This is not right. There's the health issues. We don't know about the health issues. These are developing lungs. I've got a passion for developing lungs. We make sure, as a physio, we want to make sure people have the cleanest air. You're vaping. What are you taking in? Because it's not just nicotine. It's the chemicals that go with it. You're ingesting these things. We don't know. There are no longitudinal studies as to the health effects. It took us a long time for the tobacco companies to admit that nicotine is a carcinogenic, and they're doing the same thing now with vaping. Oh no, it's all lovely. Bubblegum flavour, orange flavour, they're very attractive. And then of course there's the waste. They're single-use disposables. People throw them away afterwards. The plastic is wasted. There's lots of precious metals in them as well as the chemicals. So we're not really on top of what's going on. We need to be clearer about the problems and the issues and what we should do to stop under 18s vaping.
And that's your basic campaign, that children are vaping. How do you stop them? Because I'm just trying to think to when you and I were younger. So I started, and I wasn't alone, but I started smoking really young, smoking cigarettes.
Yep.
Do young people just do daft things?
Yes, absolutely, which is why, with cigarettes now, you put them behind the doors. People can't see them. They have to ask for them. Big notices, this kills you, very clearly. And so it should be with vaping. This is potentially a killer. Now, the tobacco industries don't want that. And it's interesting to see how smoothly they've got into gear to say, there's a lot of fuss about nothing here. Nothing to see here, move on. So that's what makes me think I'm doing the right thing. Final
question. What's the toughest or most unexpected thing about becoming an MP?
Oh, gosh, it's probably all the different levels you've got to work on. So you're working with a constituent. Saturday morning, I had a surgery. We're talking about Palestine and a footbridge in our local area. Very different things to talk about with local people, but fabulous. Really good to meet local people. And then you might be in a debate up here about new legislation, which you want to make better. And you can't make it better because the government's got the votes. And those are the sorts of frustrating different levels. But so amazing to be here, and such a privilege. So I just sit back every day and go, oh my word, okay, what are you going to do today, Ruth, to make it better?
Are there particular challenges about being a woman member of Parliament?
I suppose. Yeah, I don't. I'm an older woman, so I don't get the issues that the younger women have, and I'm quite happy to call it out. Over the years, I've dealt with sexual harassment in previous jobs, in the trade union movement. I'm quite happy to call it out for myself, but I feel for other women who do get abuse online, especially online, but even face to face. It's not good, and it should be called out.
Can you tell me anything about the sexual harassment you endured?
I mean, it was a long time ago, and looking back, Should I have done things differently? Yes, I should have called it out at the time. But as a younger woman, I wanted to get on in the trade union world. So I went around it. There are ways to avoid, if you know that person is there, you don't sit next to them, you try not to be in their presence, you're certainly out of arm's reach. And that's just the way it was. You just avoided.
Ruth Jones, first time we've had a proper chat, actually. It's been a pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you.